The 10th anniversary year has wrapped up all of its major known celebrations for the year, and the next big celebration to look forward to is the 11th anniversary on Dokkan. Now, I say major known celebrations because I do think Dokkan could have something up its sleeve for the remainder of this year, but more on that in a moment. So today we are discussing the 11th anniversary and everything that I want to see, as well as I think we will actually see in that anniversary, while we summon and hopefully complete my box. Also, a huge shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video, but more on that in just a moment. Oh, by the way, for those of you wanting to see the reaction to the LR, I'm going to tack it on to the end of this video. So there you go. We are, of course, going to start with the tickets, and we're going to go to pity, but hopefully I get a copy before we get the pity. But before we get to the actual 11th anniversary discussion, the thing we have to talk about is the fact that we have new actual anime announcements coming from Dragon Ball. There are going to be 2 announcements in January specifically about anime-related things. Now, we don't know what that means, but generally, we know there's a movie. Apparently, people have known a movie's coming for a while, and it was revealed in another fan event, which would make sense that they have multiple things to announce, that one of those will be a film. The other is definitely going to be something related to some type of anime, whether it be seasonal, whether it be back to weekly, and that pretty much can be summed up into one of 3 things. Either Daima is back for a second season, which would mean they still haven't totally figured out the rights issues, so they're doing more Daima because they can't do more Super. The other option would obviously be the continuation of Super. Now, whether that actually follows the manga timeline or they do their own thing that just picks up after the Tournament of Power, who knows? And then last but not least would be a remake of Dragon Ball. This is something that apparently has been thrown around a lot, whether it be not true or it is true or whatever it might be. There's been a lot of talks about remaking Dragon Ball, and it would be from like original Dragon Ball all the way through to the end of Z, because of course, if you're familiar with it, the Z sort of moniker was added later. Dragon Ball in its manga form is just Dragon Ball, all the way from when he's a kid to the end of the Buu saga. It's just Dragon Ball. Holy crap. Well, all right, we guaranteed bottom right path, because I am going to pity. And of course, we do still have to talk about the 11th anniversary stuff, but you have to hit the like button for me. Why not? Come on. It's a Dokkan video. We pulled the unit. We're talking 11th anniversary here. So with that in mind, that's important context, because up until we get new stuff, it's just going to be rehashes. Granted, you can sit there, you can come up with really cool theories and really cool characters, as I have on this channel and as many of you guys have as well. But at the end of the day, Dokkan has basically the most complete roster we've ever seen in a Dragon Ball game, and will likely ever see in a Dragon Ball game. We're talking about 11 years of this game existing. That is what we're heading into. That is crazy. That's actually insane. And the important context of all this coming back is if they know, which again, Bandai obviously I'm sure doesn't know everything that is going on with the IP, but they have to know some stuff. And we're aware that they know stuff because they are able to drop content for these games like really quickly, especially back in the Dragon Ball Super Broly days. Like Xenoverse 2 had TBS Broly and Gogeta Blue in the game before you could watch the film here in the States or anywhere outside of Japan, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Legends literally dropped a DBS Broly the day that the movie launched in Japan on December 14th, at least in the States. We wouldn't get that film to like January 19th, a month and some days later. Again, they work closely. I'm sure they know things. And so if they knew about these announcements that we're going to be getting, then they could have planned accordingly. And these are going to go into some of my guesses and why I think they could just go all out, because they know, look, we don't have to stall anymore. All right. We don't have to do base related units. We can just go straight to the insane stuff, as well as the obvious stuff that we don't have yet. And again, we're about to get to that. I will say I have been watching anime again. Speaking of a new anime and potentially a new movie, we got to go see the Demon Slayer movie. Fantastic. I will say a little heavy on the flashbacks, a few more flashbacks than I would have liked, but it was beautiful. And when it wasn't doing some flashback stuff, which the Akaza stuff was fine, but like anyways, caught up on the anime, watched that film, and finally got back. Dude, you guys have heard me yap about Frieren before, but I stopped for the 4 final episodes, and I'm finally finishing it. That Frieren is literally one of my favorite series of all time. I'm not even kidding. I love Frieren so much. And speaking of catching up on shows and movies, I'm so bad about wanting to watch a movie, Googling it to see which service it's available on, then subscribing to that service because it's cheaper than buying it outright. And the thing is, once you do that, once to watch a movie with your mom, another time to watch a show with your kid, and then another time to watch another movie with your wife, you've signed up for way too many subscription services. But Luckily, I use today's sponsor, Rocket Money, which then organizes all of those subscription services into their recurring section. I'm then easily able to see all of my subscription services right here on the app that are going to be coming out of my bank account, and then I can cancel the ones I no longer want. It also has a really cool feature that actually shows you what's about to be due soon, as well as upcoming recurring charges. This is easily one of my favorite features about Rocket Money, because even beyond just subscription services, I have a better insight on all my upcoming bills with ease by just looking in the Rocket Money app versus having to log into all the different subscription services and bill sites and all of that. It's just all easily viewable right here in the Rocket Money app. And to be honest, it just simply allows me to manage my money better. So to save more and spend less, join the over 5 million Rocket Money users today by either scanning this QR code right here, going over to rocketmoney.com/nanogenix, or click the link down below in the description to join today for free. Thank you so much, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this video. We got this dude back to back. By the way, a huge shout out to Rocket Money, sponsors making summons quite literally possible, so check them out if you haven't. Link down below in the description. We got a copy. What's great about the way everything works in this game is the fact that we are going to be able to exchange characters. So I do think as long as we get really lucky, we will be able to exchange and at least get pity. If we don't, even just pull another copy between now and then. Let's discuss actual 11th anniversary characters that were on the thumbnail, characters that I believe will be here. So it's got to be Daima, right? Daima has to be there in some capacity. Now, as I've said, we will talk about more, and I don't want to necessarily get to this right this very second, because I do want to focus on the 11th anniversary aspect, since that's what I really came here to talk about. But I do think we will get some more Daima related characters between now and the 11th anniversary, setting up for, of course, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? I think the adult version of Super Saiyan 4 Goku at this point is going to be held for this moment, unless they do something crazy, which we'll talk about in just a moment. I have a couple of setups here. The first is sort of like an awakening / power beyond type theme. And so the part 1 would be a Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku with a Super Saiyan Namek Goku. So here's the thing. I'm on the side that I do think Namek is sooner than later. I think this is definitely a saga that we are going to get some representation from very, very soon. And I do think it could definitely be here. Now, if not here, then I do think Namek could be up for GDC or the TDC next year, the two other bigger celebrations throughout the year. I would not be surprised if Namek gets some level of representation inside the actual anniversary itself, just because it's something they had not touched since 2021, and the actual Super Saiyan transformation moment hasn't been touched since 2019 with the STR Namek Goku. So I feel like that is just something that is going to happen very, very soon. And then part 2 would be a Beast Gohan with a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Now, obviously, they could also just put the Daima characters together. It would be pretty obvious if at this point, after part 1, if it is Super Saiyan 4 Goku and there's still no adult Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I've seen a lot of people that really pair Super Saiyan 4 Goku up with Goma, or they just count out Super Saiyan 3 Goku Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, sorry, all entirely. And I'm like, what are we doing? Okay, like he actually had almost just as much screen time as the Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta had a ton of screen time, he has enough reference material in Daima to make at least 2 or maybe even 3 LRs that would focus on different sections of Daima. Like, it's crazy. That's how much screen time that guy had that they could reference for actual attacks here. But I also I think the other thing here, so the focus here for me in this particular setup is obviously Superhero, Daima, Namek. I think these are all going to be absolutely focuses in the near future based on EZAs like the Gammas and the 2022 Beast and the 2022 Orange Piccolo. Like, all these characters are about to be back and not just ready for EZA, but dang near past their point of needing their EZA. And so I do think Superhero is going to get a hard focus very, very soon. And so a Beast Gohan that actually becomes Beast Gohan, right? Or a Beast Gohan that is tied together with an Orange Piccolo. They could do multiple things here with a new Beast Gohan, and it is a character that as of next year is 4 years old, right? Technically, the Superhero will be 4 years old next year, which is mind-boggling to even say. And he only has 2 characters in the entirety of this game. I definitely do think a Beast Gohan, while Legends spammed the crap out of him, I definitely think he's a character that we're going to see more of very, very soon. Now, the next setup very similar, but also a bit different. So the next setup for me is where they do more of like a series thematic thing. Again, the things that the things they will say just make no sense. They're the most like open-ended thematic thing to where they can basically just put any character they want in there, right? Like look at 10th anniversary. Some of you guys are gonna have some comments about 10th anniversary setup, and I'm about to address those in just a moment. They threw a bunch of characters together, right? It was whatever. So I don't think the overall theme matters a ton, like personally. That's where I'm at with it as to what they're going to do. So this is more so of like a series thematic. Part 1, you just get out of the gate. At this point, if they do not exist in the game, you get Daima 4 Ku and SSA 3 Vegeta into the game part 1. You do not make people wait to part 2. They are just in the game. They are the literal headlining part 1 units because you've made people wait for the new series for a year at this point. Like they are just part 1. Part 2, this is where I get a little bit cheeky, but I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on this. Okay, you do the Beast Gohan concept that I mentioned, one of the two, because again, the anniversaries, not again, I haven't said this yet, but the anniversaries always introduce some type of new mechanic, right? You know, 8th anniversary standby, 9th anniversary taunt, 10th anniversary with the tag, all of that. So 11th anniversary will introduce something new. And so I'm saying this before I set this up, a standalone Gogeta Blue. So whatever the new thing is, Gogeta Blue can do it, but he doesn't need to transform, man. We are at this point in 2026, DBS Broly will turn 8 years old. That's insane, by the way. 8 years old in 2026. Like, what are we talking about? And in this game, I cannot play out of the gates as a Gogeta Blue, period. And that's crazy. There's actual standalone Vegito Blues in the game. Now, granted, 2 of them are TURs, and 1 of them is free-to-play LR, but there is not a single standalone Gogeta Blue. And they did it for my boy Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So I need and I want for Gogeta Blue to finally get a standalone. And until they fix the profile feature to where I can just set it as to anything I want, I need it in the game. Now, the thing I mentioned we need to address, no freaking way. What are we talking about? What? Nanolux strikes again, man. 2 and 1's kind of crazy, bro. I gotta get a screenshot of that. Woo! Let's go! Anyway. Ooh. Ooh. The elephant in the room. The 10th anniversary format. I feel very confident because this is more of a casual discussion video for me. I didn't do 100% of my research on this. I'll just be fully candid. I always do when I do this. When you click in and it's a fully discussion and I'm not also summoning, I've done the research. We are there. We are locked in. I'm still locked in, but I feel like 95% confident they mentioned that the 10th anniversary format was not something to get used to. It was special just for the 10th anniversary format. Oh, well, I'm sure someone has already went down there and commented about the fact that we are going to get 3 LRs. I don't think they will do that. I don't. I think that was a 10th anniversary special. I don't think they're going to do 3 LRs in part 1 and 3 LRs in part 2 of 11th anniversary. I don't think they will. Is it possible? Yes, but I don't think that they will do that. With that in mind, if they were to do that, then I do think you could get your full power Frieza that people really want. I do think, and I think they would probably make him transforming because there is no like good representation for final form Frieza. That is just like standalone, kind of sort of my complaint with the Gogetas in game. There's no standalone full like final form Frieza, which is crazy. Again, game turns 11 years old in 3 months. That's how you get your Kid Buu. If Goma is not in the game yet, they could easily do a full Dokkan part 1, or sorry, Daima part 1, and Goma is a character there as well, or a Tamagami combined unit. I do think this game can do something really interesting with the Tamagamis, and I do think if you combine them all together, I think Tamagami 3 could be an LR by himself, but I do think they could do something interesting with that. So I think you could definitely see those things happen if they opt in for the 3 LR format again. But again, I don't think they'll do that. For my final picks, because I obviously yap here forever, these are the last few characters that I do believe could be involved here. There is Kakarot DLC that they've not touched at all, which really surprises me, and that's that End of Z Goku versus Vegeta insane Kakarot moment. Like, it is beautiful. It was probably one of the coolest things that game has done and probably will ever do, and a lot of good reference material that we know they love to reference Kakarot. Look at Vegito, look at there are other characters in the game that have referenced Kakarot specifically. So even if this isn't a 10th anniversary prediction, I think this is a character we could see very soon. Between that gap of 11th anniversary and us getting whatever that new thing is they're announcing in January, that could be something that we see. I think Super Saiyan Gods are due up for something. I just want standalone Gogeta Blue, but Super Saiyan Gods have not been touched literally since the 7th anniversary. which is crazy. And again, they're a duo unit in that regard. I don't really want them to be a duo unit again. I want them to get standalone LRs, because I think both of them deserve it. And I think there's just a lot to those characters, a lot to those moments that haven't been properly represented in this game, which is crazy to me. If not that, then I think they could do a callback to the 5th anniversary, which they've not done since the 5th anniversary. And I think is the only time they've ever done it. And that is combining Gogeta and Vegito together in the same part. Kind of got it in the GDC, because we had a part 2 Gogeta and a part 1 Vegito active, but not the same thing. So I do think at some point in this game's life cycle, at some point they will revisit this. We get a 5th anniversary run back, and they will be standalone, non-transforming, just boom, Vegito Blue, boom, Gogeta Blue. We need 40 more coins, by the way. No way. No, we don't. We can just pick up the LR. We'll buy that copy after I'm done yapping. And here's gonna be my argument for why it could be here in the 11th anniversary. Like, again, the anime thing I mentioned earlier, or the fact they could just finally just go all out. They don't need to worry about it anymore, because even if it is a Dragon Ball remake, it gives them tons of new reference material to basically redo every character ever, because it's going to be completely new animations they can reference. It almost resets the game, even if it is a Dragon Ball remake. If they continue Dragon Ball Super, then that opens the floodgates even more. Even if it doesn't go with the manga, it's just new content for them to actually reference. And then if it's Daima Part 2, now granted, this is a bad argument because we're like 8 months out from Daima ending, and we don't have like the main stuff in the game. Like, literally there was only 3 summonable characters as of filming this right now in the game that are from Daima. That's kind of a bad argument, but it would still be new content for them to reference for this game. And also, based on a lot of the wording around this, whatever it is they're announcing is going to be probably more than just this very contained thing where it's like just a one-off season of like Daima, basically. Like, if it probably is the continuation of Daima, probably going to be like multiple, right? It's going to boom, 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 boom. Like, it's not just a 20 episode thing and then it's done. Anyways, last but not least, and that's going to be Saiyan Saga Goku and Vegeta. I'm kind of sort of piggybacking off of Legends for this, but Legends just did them. And Legends, for the longest time, was sort of the more hype beast game versus Dokkan. Dokkan then went and released 3 Gogetas and 2 Vegetos and all kinds of stuff this year, right? This year's been really like hype beast sort of oriented for a lot of the character choices. I think probably to balance out like Tao and this unit we're summoning for today. But I do think Saiyan Saga Goku and Vegeta are definitely up for grabs, right? They also were 7th anniversary units. They turned 4 years old during the 11th anniversary. They're already are literally anniversary picks. So I just think that they are also very much so due up and could be here in some form or fashion. I still think there is stuff they could pull from other games. I've heard about One Piece cards. This could get a little interesting in this game, but I mean, actually, we kind of already have it with Gogeta and Frieza, but essentially just a team up like that, where it's sort of, it could literally be Saiyan Saga Goku, Saiyan Saga Vegeta in one card in a unique way. And the last thing I want to say with these picks, and specifically for the Gogeta stuff, because I know a lot of you guys are going to say coat, but I could see them viewing the 10th anniversary, specifically the entire year, because they did so much, right? Cell got a card, Gohan got a card. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and list all the cards, but like damn near everybody got a card this year. And so I could see where they're not gonna follow the normal sort of path that we see them follow, where it's like, okay, they got a card, so we're probably not gonna see that again for forever. And it's more of like this self-contained situation where it's like, okay, it was the 10th anniversary, we were doing all this craziness for the 10th anniversary year. Does now not mean we can't touch that character for 3 to 4 years. Like, literally, once we're out of that 10th anniversary, like, it's a reset. We're now in the next 10 years of this game. We can do whatever the hell we want, and Gogeta Blue is back on the table. Vegito Blue is 100% on the table because, again, I think in the midst of GDC, a lot of people defended it. They're like, it is Vegito Blue. And there were a lot of people that didn't at the same time. But I think more people have swapped and been like, dude, especially now that we're so far out, you don't have those animations on. You're not watching that VB active. Like, you're just using it and getting out, right? I've not personally watched the VB active in like 2 months. Like, you know? So I think that you could very much so see a Vegeta Blue and Gogeta Blue headlining celebration way sooner than you're thinking, because I know people are already acting like it shouldn't happen until like the 13th anniversary, the 14th anniversary, and it's like, whoa. Because here's the thing, I know people say they spam fusions, and this year is definitely, an extreme case of it. But even with that in mind, in this game right now, as far as summonable DBS Gogetas go, again, might I remind you, turns 8 years old next year. There's only 4 in the entire game. There's 4, and I'm including one of those is the base Gogeta with Frieza. As far as Gogeta Blues, there's only 3 in the entirety of the game. 3. That's it. People act like we get this guy literally all the time. He's turning 8 years old next year, and he has 3 in the game, none of which are standalone. You have to transform to get the Gogeta Blue, period, in this game. Then as far as what they're doing between now and then, if you guys remember 2022, we got the Gammas, we got Orange Piccolo, we got Beast Gohan. I do think there's going to be a high profile release between now and then. This is sort of the infamous like long stretch from one celebration to the next. I actually think it might be the longest stretch without a sort of high profile celebration in between. Like you could say from anniversary to typically Tanabata, but this year of course GDC, but we have Golden Week and Saiyan Day. And so I think this is the longest stretch without something. And it is typically that start of November celebration is the most lackluster celebration of the year. I think they're going to change that. First off, we have a live producer letter for the final October Dokkan Fest release, which in 2022, this is where we got Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. And then for New Year's, they changed it up that year and gave us the LR Beast and LR Orange Piccolo. And they said that was a one-off thing. That wasn't going to happen again. And guess what? A year later, base TURs. A year later, base TURs. But what if they've done it once, they could do it again? Because we need a lot of stuff from Daima. And I don't think they are going to release a Super Saiyan 4 adult Goku and a Super Saiyan 3 adult Vegeta in this game before they've given us at least mini SSJ 4, period. And I also think Goma. I do think we're going to start seeing some Daima related stuff between now and then that will point even more so towards the fact that the 11th anniversary has to be Daima. And with that said, it could be totally something unrelated to Daima because they may go ahead and give us all of Daima before we even get to the 11th anniversary. Which then begs to ask the question, why didn't we get it sooner? If you weren't doing it for the 11th anniversary, like what were you saving it for? And I do think that is a weird route we could see them go because so many people are so, myself now included, are so zoned in on this idea of Daima has to be in the 11th anniversary. And what if it comes before then and it isn't? You know what I mean? Like there is a genuine, small but genuine possibility that Daima has nothing to do with the 11th anniversary because it's either before in a big celebration or after. But I do think they will try to do something because again, you gotta remember, this is the 10th anniversary year. They're trying to like make sure this whole year feels special. And so part of that being special is they make New Year's be LRs. They do a really cool crossover in November since they're not going to do one with Heroes. And they do something special for the end of October Dokkan Fest that is not something we would have expected. So I do think this typical drought section may not be as much of a drought as it usually is. I think they might try to spice things up this year. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. Either way, I'm excited for the 11th anniversary, but I'm excited for you to see this reaction. All right, man. LR Gohan and Goten, friggin' baby infected. Let's see what they got, man. It almost has like a Super Saiyan Vegeta theme sound to it. And then it changes.
Yes, this is what I've come to expect of Saiyan power. This is the kind of ability
I like the darker, like almost eyeliner aspect of when they are possessed by him. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's unironically, like again, this is such a interesting choice. The Broly forget okay. Brotherhood Kamehameha. Why'd I say that so weird? I don't know. It's an LR. It's alright. It's not then like crazy, but interesting enough. I don't really know what to think about their OST. I'm not gonna lie. But once again, a huge shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. I'm gonna buy my character now. Boom. That's 4. We're 1 away from a rainbow. Let me know what you think's coming for the 11th anniversary. Let me know if you think anything special is coming between now and then. And nothing to let me know, but you should just click on this video right here. Why not? I'll see you guys over there in that one. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.